Welcome back. We are going to talk about insurance. Joining us is local State Farm agent Bryan Daybell. He's connecting with us virtually. Bryan, how are you?
Good morning, Christine. How are you doing?
Doing well. It's nice to see you and looking forward to this important and informational discussion about insurance. But let's start with what everyone's talking about. Of course, COVID-19 and the pandemic. I'm curious, how has that impacted life insurance policies, or has it?
That's a great question. You know, it has had a pretty large impact, actually. Customers and clients of mine that have already have life insurance policies in place have made sure that they're keeping them, and they're working diligently to make sure that those premiums are paid. Customers that haven't had life insurance with us have had an increased need and desire to learn more about life insurance, and we've actually done a pretty brisk business this year in helping people get that accomplished. So it's made a big difference in terms of people's awareness, thinking, and planning for the future.
How has it changed costs, or has it? If someone's really concerned about their life insurance, maybe because of the pandemic, they're thinking more about that. Is cost really a big issue if they come in right now and decide to change things?
Cost is not a big issue, quite frankly. There's so many different kinds of contracts that we can offer, so many kinds of policies. Term insurance, of course, is very inexpensive, and we can get a lot of bang for the buck there. People that want a more permanent solution, that would like to develop equity or cash value inside their product, can either convert existing term or apply for a permanent life insurance product. And really the difference between the two is simple. It's like renting your insurance or owning your insurance, much like renting a home or owning a home. One builds equity, costs a little more, but in the long run is much less expensive. The other is strictly renting the policy for a specified period of time.
You know, something else that many individuals think about, especially in Park City in this resort community, is their insurance for their homes in light of if they have two homes. Do you have any advice on that? Any kind of checklist or ideas on how to manage both homes that you are living in at different times and that insurance?
Another great question. We have a lot of clients who actually don't live here and who live all over the United States and all over the world, for a matter of fact, that own homes here, second homes. And of course, we have clients that live here permanently, and this is their primary residence. In both cases, we suggest that they visit with their agent and go over the coverages available, make sure that they're properly covered, especially from a replacement cost perspective. Homes in Park City cost more than homes in Salt Lake City, simply because of drainage and other more expensive issues that we deal with up here in the mountains. And so we have to make sure that our coverage in place is adequate for the home that we're insuring. We also recommend that people do a clear inventory of their personal property. In the olden days, we used to tell people, get out a pad and a paper and write down everything in every room, place a value on it, stick it in your safe. If you update it or add something to it, pull it out, add to it. Now we just tell them, take your smartphone, walk through every room, photograph everything. Don't narrate it, don't do anything. Just photograph it, store it in the cloud or on a disk, whichever you prefer. The big issue there isn't so much that we at claim time are going to say, my gosh, did you really have all this stuff? The big issue is that most of us can't remember all the things we have. So it makes a lot of sense to do a careful analysis. And a smartphone, you can do a big house in 30 minutes. Garage, tools, skis, bikes, everything.
You know, and something else that you handle on a daily basis is car insurance, and each of us has a car insurance risk profile. Tell me more about that.
Car insurance risk profiles are kind of interesting. They take into account more than 1,000 different facets, all the way from on the top end credit reporting to lifestyle, etc., to the driving habits, to tickets, accidents, the type of automobile you own, your age. All of those things fall into that risk profile. From that, we're able to develop a pretty specific cost analysis of what your car insurance should cost you. For instance, just because you and your neighbor have the same kind of cars, are the same age, and basically do the same things, you both have different characteristics, like distance to work, for instance, that might have an impact on the risk profile, the number of miles that you drive in a given year compared to your neighbor, etc. All of those things can be drilled down on now, and makes it so simple to give people a really valid car insurance rate that applies directly to them and doesn't have to take into account all the rest of the people in the risk group.
Now, Bryan, we have breezed through quite a few topics during a short amount of time, from life insurance to COVID-19 to car insurance and home insurance. But you're here locally. You can help people with all of their concerns around insurance.
Sure can. And all they need to do is either log on to bryandaybell.com. They can click, they can call. Our telephone number here is 435-649-9161, or they can simply drop by the office. We would love to meet you. And we take a great deal of pride in the work we do in this wonderful community here in Park City. Thank you very much, Christine.
And thank you, Bryan. Very useful, great information for us on our Business Wednesday. If you want to continue this conversation, get more advice from Bryan about all these different issues, and really help have peace of mind with your insurance, car insurance, home insurance, life insurance, and even more, all those things, reach out to Bryan Daybell. We'll be back with Santa and Anna Claus right after this.